Welcome to FinCrime Insights. My name is John Erik Setsos. I'm Director of Innovation. This is brought to you by Tietoevry Financial Crime Prevention. In this podcast episode, we're going to give you insights into various aspects of financial crime. We're going to look at fraud, money laundering, digital identity. In this episode, we're going to talk about 3DS monitoring, what it is and how it helps reduce fraud. To help me with this, let me introduce Line Borgsø, who is Head of Fraud Prevention, Product Management, Financial Crime Prevention. Welcome, Line.
Thank you, Erik. Nice to be here.
Good to have you on the show, and I'm sure we're going to give some insights into this area. But first, what is your role and how long have you been doing this?
Yeah, for now I am heading a fantastic team consisting of product managers and product owners who are responsible for our fraud prevention offerings. And we are working together to ensure that all our fraud prevention products are top-notch, of course. And in fact, I also play the role of a product manager myself for some of these products. And I have been part of the Tietoevry fraud prevention family now for, I think, 3.5 years. But my journey in this field started much earlier. I have spent a solid 16 years, in fact, working with risk and fraud prevention, varying different hats along the way. And this includes experience from the merchant perspective to acquiring and now then issuing.
Wow, 16 years in this area. You're quite experienced then. So what kept you so long? Why are you still doing this?
Well, the reason I've stuck around for so long, I think, is that this is a never-ending excitement of constant change. The world of fraud prevention is like a roller coaster ride with endless surprises, I would say. Just when you think you have learned everything, new things pop up, and you have always challenges, and it's always challenging us to adapt and evolve. So to keep up with this, you need to stay on top of everything. It's from new technology, fraud trends, scheme rules, compliance, and more, of course. So it's an exciting journey. Never a chance to get bored.
Yeah, I know for sure. The fraudsters are becoming more and more, creating new ways of doing it, and we constantly need to stay on top of that. So, yeah, never a boring day, huh?
Never a boring day.
So, talking about, in 16 years, things have changed a lot, right? We've been using Bank ID in Norway for, this was just in the infancy of Bank ID like 16 years ago. So, what are the major changes you have observed in this area?
Absolutely. The fraud trends, they have definitely changed during my time within this business. Previously, card present fraud was the most common thing. We had this problem with the skimmers on the ATMs, for example.
Remember that?
However, then the online shopping increased, and the introduction of chip and PIN kind of ended the skimming area of time. So in the late 1990s and early 2000s, chip and PIN was introduced, and then the focus shifted from card present to card not present, or what we call online fraud. So since the online shopping, and since then, of course, online shopping has continued to grow. It's now a normal part of our daily lives, I would say. And fraudsters, they then, when this was more and more normal, started to steal card details like card numbers and expiry dates to perform online fraud instead of this skimming. But in September 2019, a rule called Strong Customer Authentication, or SCA, like some also like to call it, was implemented in Europe. And this rule made it harder for the fraudsters to use these stolen card details, because then they also needed to authenticate the transactions. However, the fraudsters, they are very clever, so they shifted their focus to other methods like phishing, vishing, and social engineering. So today, the majority of fraud is performed by different types of phishing, vishing, social engineering variants. And now it's also common to see 3D Secure, that is a strong customer authentication method, on fraudulent transaction, and that we barely saw 6-7 years ago. So this has been a major change, and it's also very hard to distinguish these transactions from genuine transactions because they are authenticated and looks like a genuine one.
Right, and I mean, I guess the main change here is that the criminals gone from technical attacks, you mentioned skimming, you mentioned stealing car details, over to attacking people, hacking people, as I like to say, and using methodologies to trick us into doing different things. So, but how will the 3DS monitoring help with that? I mean, if I'm tricked into do something, I'll be tricked into answering that as well.
I think this is like solving a puzzle. You just need more pieces. We need more pieces to see the complete picture here. In the past, monitoring authorizations alone were the primary approach to catch fraud. But now we can see that we need additional information to differentiate between genuine cardholders and fraudsters. And fortunately, the evolution of EMV technology with support 3D Secure allows us for more sharing of data between merchants and issuers. And that has been for us like unlocking a treasure box with valuable puzzle pieces, because within this data, we can better evaluate the likelihood of fraud or genuine transactions. And at Tietoevry, we have taken the initiative to closely then monitor this 3D Secure authentication data. So our new monitoring service called 3D Secure Monitoring, as you mentioned, analyzes the crucial data such as IP addresses, device information, or language settings, which provides us with the insight into the likelihood of fraud. So by doing that, we can prevent high-risk transactions, ensuring that fraudsters lose and we win at the end. And this service has been in production for about 2 years now and has been very, very successful. Also above our initial expectations. It has even helped uncover fraud cases where victims would not report due to the embarrassment they feel because of these types of fraud. Because, there's a lot of shame among victims in these types of fraud. And now, even people that I know have told me that they have been tricked without contacting the bank because they feel so stupid being tricked. So now with our 3D Secure monitoring, we also uncover a lot of these cases as well. And that's very important too, because we learn a lot from all types of cases. So we kind of need them to be reported somehow. So when we detect it, we can learn from it and we can stop even more. So that has been a very interesting journey for us.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, what's been sort of the topic over the last, conferences I've been to is about sharing data between the different parties. And for some reason, there's been some reluctancy, and I guess the compliance officer has been reluctant for GDPR reasons for doing this. I know PSD3 now is definitely opening up more for sharing data, and as you said, that's really important for us to do that. And also, I think we need to work on this shame issue. As you said, people feel stupid being tricked, but I mean, these fraudsters, they are professional in trying to trick us, and we are amateurs in defending ourselves. So anybody can be fooled by the scams they're running now.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's good that we're catching more fraud. So how much do we catch with this? I mean, do you have any numbers you can share?
Yes, in 2023, we saw an incredible decline of 360 million Norwegian crowns with our new Trade Secure monitoring solution. So that's quite high amount, I would say. We considered the total decline of all our solutions combined to be around 660 or 700 million NOK. So it means that half of the transaction values we decline are now being stopped with this new 3D Secure monitoring solution. So for us, this has been a game changer, I would say, for us and our customers, of course.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's fantastic. I mean, and the more we catch, the better, obviously. And I mean that kind of reduction is really great. We want to stop. I mean, we would like to stop everything, right? But there is no such thing as a perfect solution.
No.
So I mean, there will always, as illustrated earlier, the fraudsters will always find new ways. When it becomes too hard to do one thing, they're going to do something else, and that's what keeps us on the toe, and that's what keeps your and my job really exciting in this and meaningful, right, in catching all this.
Absolutely.
So going forward now, I mean, talking about changes, any look in the crystal ball. What are the trends, and what do you think is going to happen in the future?
Well, right now we already can see two trends that stands out in 2024. The first one is what we call safe account scams. I mean, where people receive messages claiming that their bank accounts are at risk and is tricked into moving their money into so-called secure accounts and of course they are not secure at all. And this is of course a phishing, wishing, social manipulation, or a combination of all of them altogether. And it's very hard to distinguish from genuine transfer. It blends in with normal behavior, like a lot of people now open an account in a new bank and transfer all the money because of a better interest rate. So that's normal behavior. But when these social manipulators do this, it's hard to see that this is normal and this is fraud. However, we are confident that by acquiring more puzzle pieces, because that's what we have to do, we'll be better to also combat these types of fraud. So my team will definitely be working with this type of fraud this year. The second one we have seen last year and also continuing this year is what we call token fraud, in which fraudsters, they enroll stolen cards into wallets, also using phishing, wishing, and social manipulation methods. And to tackle this, we are now developing and testing a new solution to closely monitor these enrollments. And we think that will enabling us to early detect and prevent this type of fraud. It is still in the testing phase, but we can already now see that a lot of this data is the same that we see the Trade Secure monitoring system. So it kind of is the same method behind and the same data. So we can already see that we can stop a lot doing the same thing we're doing Trade Secure monitoring. So our focus in 2024 and forward is of course to collect as many puzzle pieces as possible to see the bigger picture and to prevent fraudulent activities. And we are so committed to stay ahead of the game and to protect our clients and the customers and the card holders, account holders, and so on against these trends.
Yeah. No, and I like the way you say puzzle pieces, because it's about gathering information. It's detecting if the user, is doing something I normally don't do, but it's also detecting, okay, this is typical fraudulent behavior, so we can recognize. I mean, the fraudsters have a behavior as well that we recognize. So it's all about pattern recognition on this. And but yeah, I mean, it is challenging, and I mean, it's really sad. It's every week you read in the news about somebody being frauded, somebody being tricked by this, and of course it is very challenging to prevent this.
It is, and it's a lot of sad stories out there as well. So
yeah, really. Okay. I think this was a very good insight into what we're doing on the 3DS monitoring. I want to thank you so much for sharing your information here. Very good to understand and to realize how much fraud we catch doing this, and that is really good. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
And to everybody, stay tuned for the next episode in FinCrime Insights. And there's going to be a QR code at the end. Scan that and you'll find all the episodes available. Thank you for joining.